Why should we actually worry about estate duty? So why would we worry about all these things and the structuring of assets, and not necessarily only art, which we're talking about tonight, but any other asset. But what could happen is that because of creating a sense of comfort for people, whereby they feel that there's no further need to create trust, and they do abolish estate duty. Nothing prevents the fiscal to come along in 10 years or 15 years or whenever, when everyone's personal estate is now fattened out again, and say, well, with effect from the 1st of March next year, we bring back estate duty at 40%. And we're all caught back in the trap. So it's not as much as what was said in Parliament. I'm more concerned about what was not said, and also considering that estate duty is a wealth tax. And in this country, one must be very careful when glib reference is made to abolish wealth tax without any sort of explanation about it. From a structuring perspective, one could obviously leave art to Iziko or any other public benefit organization. There's a total exemption from estate duty for such donations in terms of your will. However, there's a general perception that the National Gallery and other municipal and other state-controlled galleries are not well funded, and that pieces may not be well looked after. So there's a general reluctance to do so. The other important thing that one must bear in mind is that you can also, there's a provision in terms of the Estate Duty Act, whereby you can enter into a notarial lease lend with a PBO or the National Gallery or anything that's exempt from tax. And under those circumstances, and that the award the entering of the notarial lease lend, and you die during the period of the lease, which must not be less than 30 years, one would then get a total deduction for estate duty purposes. What one would typically do is you'd leave your art collection, say, to your family trust. During your lifetime, you've actually entered into the notarial lease. The PBO will have effective use of your collection, and on the bare dominium vests in the trust, and at the end of the lease period, everything flows through to the family trust with no estate duty consequences. But as I say, 30 years is a long time, especially if you have to do it during your lifetime. Now, the other method, and those are more complicated methods, is where we use successive usufructs. The successive usufruct is where you could leave your art collection to your family trust, subject to, say, the usufruct of a spouse. The usufruct in favor of the spouse on your death is totally exempt from estate duty purposes. And then what you can do is on the death of the spouse, there's a successive usufruct in favor of a PBO. And effectively, you would only value the art collection for a period of 1 year. There's a capitalization rate that you'll use for over a year, which is very little. And at the end of that 1 year period, it flows through to the family trust without any further estate duty consequences. But I say these are just a few of the examples for the purpose of actually what one can do to structure art and to minimize the incidence of holding beautiful pieces such as this as part of your asset base without the fear of holding that will actually cause you having to sell off most of it for the purpose of paying duty and other taxes.